Good afternoon. Welcome to our July set of tarot readings. And today is July 6th. The spread that we will be doing today is called Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me. And it is, again, coming from 365 Tarot Spreads. Looking at the little write-up in the book for the spread, I guess the inspiration for the one that they're doing is that it says that today is International Kissing Day, recognized in Great Britain, the United States, and Canada. If it's recognized, this is a surprise to me. This is the first time that I've heard of this. If you have heard of it, well, then that's great. So yeah, so they're using kind of kissing as the theme, and they talk about how kisses convey messages. They're also connected to intimacy, and that this spread, what they're doing in order to mark the meaning of all of the cards is they're using cliches to discern salacious information about life and love. This spread has 9 cards, and the cards are set up where the first 4 cards make a square, and then the other 5 cards make a plus beside it. So let's see what this week's spread has to share with us. So I'm just going to shuffle the cards up. Feel them out. It's interesting. One of the things while I'm setting these cards up that I found with this spread was my initial reaction to actually doing it. And I was looking at it and thinking, wow, this spread actually kind of makes me feel uncomfortable. And when we're looking at getting meaning in stuff and trying to uncover where our next steps are or what it is that we would like to look at next, even just how comfortable or uncomfortable a spread that we come across makes us feel is a good indication. So for instance, when I was looking at it thinking, at first I went like, this sounds like kind of a stupid spread. And then I was like, who really wants to do a spread based on kissing? Really started me thinking about kissing and intimacy and relationships. And for me, so automatically, I already have something that I can look at as to why do I feel so uncomfortable around this topic, and why is there such a lot of resistance or judgments kind of around this. So the first card we have, so they said that they were using cliches. So the cliche for this one is the Judas Kiss. And what they've connected this to is, what can I not trust? So what in my life right now can I not trust? And we have the Nine of Wands. So the Nine of Wands is quite a few different things. For me, some of the things with the Nine of Wands is it's looking at, where am I getting close to an ending, but I'm running out of steam? Where have I lost my passion and my desire to keep going and to fulfill what it is that I have set before me? And so if we're looking at what we can't trust, it's that feeling that what we're doing is stupid, maybe, or that what we're doing has no purpose, or there's no reason to waste our energy and our time on continuing down this path to fulfillment. A lot of this comes from our self-doubt or our worries for failure. And it's easier to give up before you reach the end, because if you give up, you never know whether you're going to fail or succeed. And so it's easier to just be able to say, well, that was something else that never came to fruition. And in doing so, like if you give in to those voices, or if you give in to your lack of trust in yourself, then you never really get to move into a place where you can know exactly what it is that you can do. You never understand how it is you can fulfill your full potential. The second one is Kiss the Cook. And this one says, what am I creating? And here we have the Four of Cups. And with the Four of Cups, there's a sense of longing, there's a sense of nostalgia. There can be a sense of melancholy along with this as well. When you're looking at a card and how it fits into the position that it's fulfilling, I would also look at it to say, like, when you're looking at what am I creating, you can look at this card too as this person, like, so where we are now in our lives, we're creating something using what we already have. So she already has like these things that she's manifested around her. She already has these creative stockpiles, so to speak. And what she's really longing for is this one over here. So what we're creating now is a bridge on how to get from what we have now to what we feel in our heart we can actually create. And we're looking to create things of the heart. We're looking to create maybe community. We're looking to network and to connect with other people. We're looking for ways that we can take our experiences and help them to become something that we feel more emotionally connected to. And that can be both fun and daunting as well, especially if we're coming from this, right? If we doubt ourselves and we're already doubting that what we're doing isn't making any progress, it isn't making any difference, then when we're looking to create, if we already have the doubt in our heart, it's harder to create something from that pure love, that pure excitement, that pure whatever feelings that we have, motivations and all that kind of stuff, and we then can get stuck in just dreaming of the thing. And so, what we have to learn to do is we have to learn how to create the bridge between what we're dreaming of and what we want to have in our lives. The third card is blowing a kiss. And the question they have is, does someone need extra love from me right now? And here we have the wheel. And so the wheel is telling us that things are turning and things are changing. And it's interesting because it's asking, like, does someone need extra love from me right now? So one thing is this is a major arcana card. So that means that giving love and receiving love is it's a cosmic lesson that we're learning right now. And I like to look at this and think that, maybe we're stuck in a way of giving love. Maybe we're stuck in a way of perceiving love. And it kind of goes back to what I said at the beginning, right? Like I have my own issues around intimacy. And so maybe this is coming up and saying like, are the issues that you might have around intimacy causing a block between how you can give love and affection and intimacy to other people? The other thing with the wheel is it's seasonal, it's cyclical, it's changing. And so maybe what we're looking at is how do we give love at different times of our lives? How do we give love at different times of our relationship places? Because sometimes if you think about relationships, we get into these places where it's routine, it's habit, and we might not step out of those and into like actually showing appreciation, putting the effort in. You see people that get along in a certain way and they go, oh, they act like an old married couple kind of thing because the behaviors are so natural. And it might be that now it's time to start looking at how can I spice things up? How can I change things up? How can I find a different way to show other people love and affection? And always in these equations is to remember to love ourselves as well. And so this might be looking at, this is a time, a cycle to be looking at giving more love and attention to ourselves, because the more we love ourselves, the more we feel love, the more we trust that we are lovable, then the easier it becomes for us to act from a love-based motivation as opposed to a lack of love, right? Like, so if I'm doing something for somebody else just out of love, then that's going to have a different energy, a different feel to it than if I do something because I'm afraid that if I don't do it, they're not going to love me. The next one is kiss and tell. And this one asks, who is talking about me? And here we have the Two of Coins. And so the Two of Coins is about balance. And one of the things that I find really interesting about this question in this reading is like it's asking like who is talking about me. So we're looking outside to find out who's talking about me. And when you look at the Two of Coins, it's a card about balancing, right? A lot of times it's looking at balancing all the things that you're doing in your life. But I think with this one, it's also about balancing and looking at balancing between like positive and negative talk, right? So if we're looking like who's talking about me, a lot of times our minds will jump to this idea that someone's talking negatively about me or someone's gossiping about me. But this is also wanting to pull into that there's two sides to everything. And I think it kind of goes back to what I was saying here about working on the self-love and, dealing with our self-trust and our worthiness and all that kind of stuff, that what we need to be looking at is balancing the amount of energy and the amount of clout, I guess, we put in what other people are saying. Because if we're constantly focusing on what other people are saying and who's talking about us, then we're automatically giving away our power. Because does it matter if people are talking about us? And so when you look at the two of coins, right? Like, is my worry about what other people might be saying impacting what I'm doing in my life and how I'm taking action and where I'm going and how things are kind of working out? And so looking at who's talking about me in the sense of the Two of Pentacles, I need to be sitting there and thinking, like, how much weight am I giving to what other people are saying? And so are they speaking in terms of relationships? Are they speaking in terms of just value, right? And because it's the two of coins, you might be feeling that there are people out there that are talking about your work productivity or your value or who you are as a person and all of those kinds of things. So I think it's important that when we're looking at these kinds of questions, to be looking less at who out there is talking about me and more of who am I inside and what weight am I balancing on my belief that other people are talking about me? The next one is the kiss of death. And so this is what is transforming. And here we have the emperor. And I think this ties in really nice with what's kind of been going on here first, is because with the emperor, he is in control of the person he puts in the world. He's in control of what he owns, what he claims, what he protects, what he creates, all of those kinds of things, right? The emperor rules his world and makes sure that everything falls in line with what he values and what he finds to be the most important thing to protect, and he gathers all the things and the resources and everything like that. And so when we're looking at what's transforming, we are transforming. And so if we can look at our self-doubt, if we can look at our resistance, if we can look at our love, if we can look at what we want to create and how we can create from a inner kind of rooted confidence and understanding of who we are, then we can present to the world our authentic self, but we can also present our authentic self in an empowered way. And so the Emperor, again, also is another major arcana card. So he's kind of connected here with the wheel. And so by having the wheel spinning and the emperor saying, like, this is what is transforming, we can understand that we are in a cycle of shifting our power, of reclaiming who we are and standing firm. And also because we're doing that, what we're transforming is we're transforming our energy into something that we can use. And the emperor is connected with Aries, which is a very much an energy of moving forward. It's a pioneering energy. It will not be stopped because it does what it wants to do. And so that's where we're transforming. We might be coming out of a cycle, for instance, where we've been stuck, we've been stagnant, we've been going around in circles, and now something has kind of pushed us and knocked us out of that rut and out of that groove and into a new path of and a new way of going. And so we need to be able to claim that energy and to use that energy to overcome our fears, to overcome our resistance, to change our lives into the next phase, the next stage of who we want to be and who we want to put in the world. The next one is Kiss My Derriere. And this is how do I rebel? And here we have the Eight of Swords. Now, the Eight of Swords, interestingly enough, is all about fear and trapping ourselves in fear and being all tied up and bound up and caged up and allowing our fears, which interestingly enough goes all the way back to, having no faith in what it is that we're doing, not motivated enough, being confused and lost, and also, where we're weighing and balancing other people out there versus what we have in here. And so our rebel needs to be let go, right? Over time, we can allow all of our fears, all of our worries, all of our self-doubts to accumulate to a point where they shackle and they chain up our kind of rebel, our wild side, and we become tame, we become docile, we are no longer that person that is vibrant and full of life and willing to question and willing to explore and willing to challenge. And so this is what our rebel needs to do. We need to let our rebel back out of the cage to be able to help shake up things in our lives that have gotten stagnant, to be able to help us to kind of break out of the chains that have us living in a limited life, have us living in a limited view, and open up and expand out back to reclaiming our dreams, back to going back and dreaming of all the possibilities, all the potentials that we could do based on what we have, and learning how to, shake up our world so that we become the ones that are setting the rules. We become the ones that set the parameters and allow ourselves to just kind of explode out into the world in a way that may go completely against, cultural expectations and societal norms and all that kind of thing, because that's what we need to do now. We really need to be able to allow ourselves to break out and allow ourselves to be who we are, and who we've hidden away needs to come out and be shown again. And the next one is Kiss Your Bleep Goodbye. And this is what should I avoid? And here we have the Eight of Pentacles. And the Eight of Pentacles is a card kind of mastery, right? Like it's moving beyond the apprenticeship. And considering that we just had the Eight of Swords, now we have the Eight of Pentacles. So now we've got like two eights energy coming in, and these are energies of moving forward. These are energies of, getting out of the old and expansion, moving into a place of expansion. And so what should I avoid? Tying into the fear that we have from the Eight of Swords, it's we need to avoid all of the stories. We need to avoid all of the ruts and the patterns and the worries and the doubts that keep us from actually putting ourselves out there. We need to really start to cut away the stories or the uh, distractions and all of the other things that we put before ourselves. This is a really good time for us to really look at, where do we play small? Where is it that, you might have the skill, you might have the ability, you might have everything but the confidence and the courage to put it out there. Uh, and I'll give a really good example of how this is fitting in for my life right now. For instance, I have someone who I'm taking a program with who has challenged everyone in the program to put that skill forward and to put offers out there and to put their skills into practice. And I was one of the first ones that just froze in fear, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Like I automatically started to list up all the different reasons why of all the people in this program, I can't do this. I can't do this because of X, Y, Z, right? And so having this come up side by side again with this one, these are really good cards to pair up when you're trying to really kind of break a pattern, break a habit. If you're lost, if you're confused, start looking at the fears that you have and have the resistance, because there is a lot of things knocking on the door, and we have to be able to look at and say, oh, every time this knocks, I say this. And so we need to stop saying that and start really kind of stepping into our power and saying, hey, look it, I have the ability, I have the skill, and I need to do this and I need to move forward. The next one is the French kiss. So who has a crush on me? And here we have death. And so again, this is an interesting question to have in here because again, you're asking outside yourself and you're looking for, you know, some kind of attention, some kind of notice from other people. And with death coming up, one of the first things that kind of came into my mind is who has a crush on me? Well, it's transformation, right? The transformation is coming in and is pushing us out of our comfort zones. Transformation is coming in and saying, you know what? The person that has the crush on you or the energy that has the crush on you is the energy that sees your potential. It's the energy that sees what you can become. And it's time now to shake off the shroud that you've been carrying and to allow your luminescence to come through, to allow your true self to come through, right? You need to step out with that very confident, very empowering energy of the emperor so that you can come and stand in your power, stand in your strength and allow yourself to move forward without having to, be looking for who out there loves me, who out there has a crush on me. Well, you know what? Death is saying it's you. You have to have the crush on you. You have to change how you're looking at things. You have to change how you're asking things. You have to change how you're dealing with things. And you have to change so that you become better, so that you become more authentic, so that you become more real, so that you become more confident, more grounded in your lovability, more grounded in your value, more grounded in your worth, all of these things so that you can actually, hop on that cycle of change, that cycle of transformation, that cycle of growth, because all of these things are pointing to growth and expansion that is being stifled and being locked away because of our fears, our worries, and our resistances. And the last one is chocolate kiss. Is there someone I should be kissing right now? And here we have um, the chariot. And sorry, I had to think about that for a second. Um, and the chariot is, it's kind of an interesting one to have for this because again, the chariot is also a major arcana card, giving us a total in this reading of 4. So we now have 4 major arcana cards, and they actually kind of range almost in a little bit of a group because you've got from the 4 all the way up to the 13, which is death. And looking at this, is there someone I should be kissing right now? I think because the chariot is a card that's all about adventure, it's all about direction, it's all about finding your path, that if you're looking at, if anything, it should be joy, it should be adventure, it should be excitement. So if you're looking at, of course, this one is there someone? I look at is there something, right? Like, and kissing can be physical, but it can be very much an idea or an energetic kind of thing, right? Like, so giving a kiss to the universe to say, hey, you know, send me something exciting, send me something fun, send me something joyful. All of these things can be, brought into play at this time. So looking at everything we have to kind of give a quick little summary, I already mentioned that we have 4 major arcana cards, and all of them, again, bring this idea of change into it, right? And other than the emperor can bring change, but the emperor is also like a grounding, stabilizing presence. And so you've got death, you've got the chariot, you've got the wheel, right? So you've got all of these cards, which are major, major themes of change, major themes of movement, major themes of transformation, of coming out of your shell, of allowing your true and authentic person to come forward. And so having those cards, we also have them kind of balanced out. When I look, we've got 1, 2 pentacles, we've got a sword, a cup, and a wand. So right now, when you're looking at information about our lives, which is what the basis is of this spread, that right now we're in a stage where our lives are changing, where we need to be opening up and embracing to the changes that are happening. And it's time for us to be the active person that is embracing these changes, that's calling these changes forward, and that's making sure that whatever's coming through is of our choosing. Because there's a lot of things that can happen, right? Like if we get caught up in the fears and worries, if we get caught up in the doubts of who's talking about me and what's going on behind my back and all of these kinds of things, and like, does that person like me? Do I need to be out kissing that person? Like if we get caught up in all of those, I don't want to say that they're meaningless, but they're obvious distractions. And they're also putting everything out there, right? Like, does that person love me? Does this person want to kiss me? Who's got a crush on me? Like those questions that are in this reading, they really take away our attention from ourselves and say, hey, you know, do I love me? Do I want to be with me? Do I want to spend time with me? Because if you answer no to those questions, that's where we need to go and work first. Because if we dislike being with ourselves, if we dislike ourselves, if we don't value ourselves, if we don't trust ourselves, no one else is going to do that. And all we're going to attract are people that are going to take advantage of us, people that are going to see us in those almost weakened states and take advantage of our creativity and our energy and our desires and everything like that in order to, kind of take from us in order to help themselves. And so right now, looking at all of these things, what we want to look at doing is we want to look at doing, how can I date myself? How can I build up the love I have for myself? How can I show myself how valuable and precious I am? And how can I then take all of these things and build the bridge to, who I know I am, who I long to be, so that I can put my true self out there in the world. But also, as I'm doing that, so that I can stand in who I know I am, so that no matter what happens when I go out in the world, that gentle, loving, vulnerable person will still be able to stay that gentle, loving, vulnerable person and not have to, you know, give up anything in order to appease other people, in order to gain the love, the appreciation, right? It doesn't matter who's talking about you. It really doesn't. It doesn't matter who's talking about you. Let me see here. What's the other one? It doesn't matter who has a crush on you, right? Like none of that matters because all of that is based on doubts about yourself, right? Like if I'm doubting myself, then of course I'm wondering out there who's going to like me, who's going to love me, who's going to want to have, any kind of thing to do with me. But if I am confident and comfortable and fully grounded in who I am and my value and my worth, then I can just do me, and that will attract anyone. If I'm in a position, if I'm in a season of my life where my next step is a relationship, or my next step is to build deeper friendships or deeper familial relationships, right? All of that comes from first loving and valuing who I am. And that seems to be also what this is pointing at, is that, we need to stop allowing the distractions of other people's thoughts, other people's feelings, other people's values to intercept or to stop us from standing in who we are. And as we go through this, one of the things that we really, really want to do is we want to, just own ourselves, stand in that power. And it's interesting because the emperor actually stands in the middle of the whole spread. This is the fifth card out of 9, and so this is the middle of the spread. This is the balancer of the spread. And so knowing that for us to really, really be able to know what's going on in our lives, we need to be that emperor. We need to be that power in our life. We need to own that and be able to hold that for ourselves. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. And I look forward to seeing you next week when we take this reading, when we take the spread and we, break it down and break it apart and look at its pros and cons and give you some different ways that you can tweak the spread, edit the spread, so that it becomes something that you can use in your own practice and helps to support you as you continue to grow. So take care, and I look forward to seeing you next week.